And we're back, and you are listening to Villaincast, BJJ Anti-Heroes, with myself, Chris, the Villain Pains, and Naqi El Jefe Arshed. And welcome to Reap the Week. But first, a quick thank you to our members at In Theory BJJ Concept Driven Jiu-Jitsu. For fight commentary, technique and concept videos, private coaching, monthly webinars, and Q&A sessions, please visit www.patreon.com/intheorybjj. You know what we should do one week is, I usually just jump straight in. Naqi, you should do it. Just throw people off. Keep them on their toes. Try
that's a good idea.
I want to hear you say that first part. Go on. Especially now.
Give me a script.
Okay, we're there. How do you not know it? Like you literally jingle to it every time.
Yeah,
like
I was going to say,
video.
I just bob my head to it, yeah.
Like, he knows it. I know he knows it. Okay, so and we're back, and you are listening to Villaincast, BJJ Anti-Heroes. So myself, Chris, the Villain
And we're
Pains.
back. You are listening to Villaincast, Anti-BJJ Heroes.
Close enough.
Shall I do it like a Bane voice? Hello, welcome to Villaincast.
Oh, dude. Is it going to be one of those sessions?
No. You got me started.
Don't blame it on me. Well, Jimmy's mailbag has been jingling. It's got a little bit inside it. How have you been anyway? I didn't see you on Monday. You were busy.
Yeah, I had to get this bloody room done, man. I had to fill the holes in and paint it. So I was hoping to make sparring, but I couldn't in the end, and I was gutted, and I was just angry, and I just had to stay away from everyone for a bit because I went for a long walk because I thought I have to punish myself for not going training.
No, I understand. It was a quiet night. I think bank holidays.
Yeah,
It's like
I've heard.
These things happen. It's bank holidays.
Yeah.
It always goes quiet.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I think Jimmy's mailbag has been full. I've just come back from training myself. I went to Gracie Baja this evening.
Oh, where?
Tamworth.
Nice.
Basically, so an old work colleague friend of my father, has been doing jiu-jitsu for since I've known him, since that's about 2003. So he's been doing jiu-jitsu for 21 years.
Wow, is he black belt?
No, brown belt. I think he's
nice.
he's not kept at pace and stuff like that, but he was like at the original kind of gym with Braulio and stuff like that when he kind of came to the UK. So he was like a OG kind of guy in this area.
Nice.
And I was like,
was it busy class?
It was a quiet class. I messaged him, and I haven't seen him since I was like 16 years old. So I was like, do you mind? I do jiu-jitsu too. Do you mind if I come along? And did the class, did some sparring. Then they were very curious, and I got called annoying, which happens, I guess. And then I ended up like holding court with about 4 or 5 of them at the end, trying to explain why it felt annoying.
Yeah. Are they going to quit it?
Yeah. Rob, the guy, my dad's friend who I've just rolled with, he's very interested in coming up to our Thursday sessions. So yeah, spreading the good word. And all I did just did some. Again, I think this is the one of the benefits of Running Man is especially like traveling in jiu-jitsu and how you can go to different gyms and people can act weird in different gyms, is being able to go in and be so comfortable in knowing that no matter who kind of comes at you, you can just fall into these defensive postures and you're going to be safe. And so then being able to play these things in the gi as well, and allow people to try and choke me and, not find anything. I was like, I feel good. I feel safe. It allows me to travel and not get beaten up.
Yeah.
So it was a fun experience, as always, and spreading that good word, the good word of defensive posturing. But that kind of leads into Jimmy's mailbag. Are you ready?
Go on.
Go on. So, First question. Oh, fuck's sake. Do we go straight in? Let's just go straight in. Why do so many grappling coaches sound pretentious about eco? I'm just going to put it down. I think they're trying to set us up. I think he's trying to set us up. They are. He's doing this on purpose.
Is it Liquid Rob who's got some questions?
No, it's not Liquid Rob that's sending the question, but it's he visited our gym earlier on in the year for a good couple of months.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he's set us up on this one. Okay, so let's. I'm shaking it off now. Right, let's answer him. Why do so many grappling coaches sound pretentious about eco? That's a very loaded question there.
Yeah,
loaded.
It is.
Like, it seems like you're guiding us down a certain path. Maybe we don't agree.
Or maybe because he knows that we're so outspoken that we'll just say some straight off answer. Or maybe something he wants to hear.
Yeah. It's that
it's our Scottish friend, isn't it? It's our Scottish friend, isn't it?
Scottish friend.
Oh, no. Is it a different one?
American.
Oh, American. Oh, shit. I should have guessed that.
I know. I was going to say, he's been 2 months with us. How you can forget him?
No, but that question, that's defo set up. If I know him that well, and I'm sure.
Yeah, he's done this to us on purpose. So let's answer him. Let's answer him. We'll beat around the bush all night if we have to. Right, trying to be diplomatic. I think. There definitely is benefits of eco. Don't get me wrong. Like, we have incorporated it for a while, but I have, listened to people out there, and the main kind of feedback that I'm getting, because of how much has been pushed so aggressively, maybe, and the term has been pushed so aggressively, is it's some sort of faux intellectualism to make people sound more Danaher-y. And they get stuck in the weeds on the discussion of eco, instead of just teaching jiu-jitsu. And I can see where there's a lot of discussion on the academic side. I think that has to happen to an extent, where people need to understand how to teach this way and do certain coaching practices. So there does have to be that discussion. Maybe the conversation in parts is alienating people. I think that can be a fair criticism. Especially if this question has come in and people are feeling alienated by the discussion of eco. Maybe we need to tone down or approach it in a different way. Again, it was a thing I heard from the camp in Florence. Is who's the camp for? Am I here because I'm trying to learn how to coach better? At which point I'm a goddamn white belt. Why am I here? Or am I trying to learn how to drill in an eco way? At which point it's a case of, well, I've just learnt random drills and I don't really understand the purpose of that. So I think the conversation has to be tailored to that level, as in, a lot of people aren't coaches. They are interested in learning jiu-jitsu in different ways. And it's trying not to drown them necessarily in academia and just teach them good jiu-jitsu.
I can understand why someone can say the whole Danaher thing, just make it sound like people are maybe getting involved in this whole giving smart answers to simple things. You know what I mean? Maybe some sort of a trend, or I don't know, man. Like, I don't see what the big fuss is about it. I just think, okay, it's a different style of wave training, which, yes, it fits in. And just like any other ways of teaching, when it's right time to use it, then yeah, there is a time to use it. But purely maybe doing it that way, it's not what I think is the only right answer, where it's just got to be eco. It's just got to be eco. It's just got to be eco.
I think the conversation's got so intense on it. It is then starting to alienate people. Like I had a chat with a friend of mine who is, I'll leave details out. I think it's only fair, but he is actually trained academically in delivering ecologically in his field of work. That forms part of his career. And even he said, like, yeah, I don't use it all the time. It's a tool. Like, it's the right tool for the right job. And that's the thing. Sometimes it feels like you can get, you can try and shoehorn things in a certain ideology when it might not be the right time. Like, you need to explore what is the better time. Because even people who are versed in it are saying the same thing. No, it's a tool in a toolbox. Sometimes it's not the right tool, and I agree. And so I think there has to be some conversation about the way the conversations come about, because it has seemed to alienate students in a way, because it's not the first time I've heard these kind of things. But on a coaching level, there are benefits of it. We have adopted it. A lot of people have adopted it and see great benefits of it. But it's a tool in a toolbox. I think that was diplomatic. I don't think that was inflammatory. I don't think. I don't see that we're growing. We're growing as people.
Yeah. You're not going to get hate mail.
I know. Maybe the villain's changing to the mild annoyance, the mildly annoying acquaintance. That's got the same ring to it. Imagine putting that at the beginning of the podcast. Ooh, I like this one.
I knew you were going to come up with something.
There's 2 questions here by the same person, and I'm worried. I think it's funny. I bless him for sending these in. He has visited us before. I like how people visit us. Okay, these are 2 questions. Okay, I'll say them both out loud first, and then we're going to talk about the questions. Cool. First question. Thoughts on a white belt wearing a rash guard with purple colours? Understandable. Second question. Safest techniques for restraining and not hurting somebody. For an example, an old lady with dementia.
Say the first one again, because you broke up for the first one. The second one's got me going here.
Thoughts on a white belt wearing a rash guard with purple colours, followed up with safest techniques for restraining old ladies with dementia.
What?
Dude, I don't know. I'm trying. I can't.
I'm trying to think how that's linked, or like why anybody would ask.
I like questions. How that. There wasn't even a break between those questions. No one jumped in. That was like they asked that in succession, and I'm like, wow, that is some gymnastics to get between those questions. I'm trying to find the common thread. Maybe there's a old female white belt who's now wearing purple, who's acting dangerously, and we need to restrain her. She's confused. She thinks she's a purple belt. Let's take them separately. Maybe they're not related.
Yeah,
I want to know if they're related. Please, once you've answered your question, please get into us and say like, "Oh yeah, it's the same person." Like, they're causing mischief.
We want to know the backstory. What's the backstory to these questions?
Oh my god! So okay, before I get into that, I had a really interesting session with someone. It's actually I'm going to start making like YouTube series on these, like answering problems, and it's a new female grappler I'm giving sessions to. She's trying to get back into fitness after having a child. I'm not going to give any personal details. I don't think that's fair. But she had a few issues showing aggression and violence. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll find a way of unlocking that in you. So I gave her some MMA gloves. I went, right, I want you to hit me. Like, we're going, you need to see I'm going to be okay. Like, so we're going to spar, and because she wouldn't engage aggressively, I said, yeah, I need you to hit me. And she went to hit me and pulled the punch at the last second. And I was like, see, like, you have an issue just unlocking, this violence in you. And she went, it's funny, it's weird, because I never used to have that problem. I worked for 10 years as the dominatrix. And I was like, what? Like, she went, yeah, I used to, like, I didn't have problems, like, hitting men with canes, but I just can't punch her. I'm like, meh. Well, I never saw that one coming.
Does she look like a stereotypical dominatrix?
No, she's a lovely woman. She's I'm not saying dominatrix is.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Chris, who says dominatrix, maybe not a lovely women.
I'm not being. Yeah, no, she's lovely. She's very mumsy. She can tell she loves her child. We talk a lot about children, and being new parents and stuff. And her husband drops her off, and she's very happily family orientated woman. But yeah, this works as a dominatrix for a period of time. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, you can't really assume things about people then, I guess. Like,
no,
jiu-jitsu's
true.
Jiu-jitsu's a different beast. So how do you teach someone who's okay with hitting people with canes to punch someone in the face? Yeah, things catch you off guard in jiu-jitsu, and this is one of those days. I thought I'd had my day this week of things catching me off guard, but here we are with old ladies with dementia possibly wearing purple belts. But let's approach these indirectly.
Yeah, let's dissect them.
Just fuck my life. Like, jiu-jitsu just pulls me into the weirdest places. When I was in Florence the other week. So I have a thing. I'm just rambling now. I have a thing about ending up in stupid circumstances because I don't research heavily where I'm staying. I've stayed in a homeless shelter accidentally. I once tried to put me and Charles into a building where the first floor was considered a health hazard against human habitation, so it was boarded off by the health department, which I think is funny, because if the first floor was crumbling and we were on the second floor, which usually the first floor holds up the second floor. Charles, I'm
surprised they were taking bookings.
This place, dude, I don't think they gave a shit. And it had 6 stars on booking.com, so standards. Well, I was in Florence and I ended up staying at a hostel. It was a nice hostel. I walked inside and it was very church-like. I was like, "Ooh, this is an interesting hostel. It's got nice, weird decorum. Maybe they repurposed an old monastery." No, it was an actual monastery. So when I woke up in the morning, there were monks everywhere in brown robes and robes around their stomach, walking around the corridors. I'm like, the problem is I don't speak Italian. So when I booked this place and I didn't fully understand what I was booking.
I bet you thought some Assassin's Creed shit going on here.
Dude, literally brown robes, flip-flops and the corded belts wrapped around, just wandering around the corridors, bringing food out. I think they were doing some sort of charitable food bank thing. And I'm like, oh, maybe I am in an actual monastery. It's not an old repurpose. I am in one. It's lovely. It's quiet. So I thought I'd escape. I thought my booking had got better. No. So it's already been a weird month as well. Anyway, thoughts on a white belt wearing a rash guard with purple colours. So we have had this issue before. We had a white belt wearing a brown rash guard, and we'd have people come visit and go particularly hard on this white belt.
I was just about to say.
And then he was like, "Why are people so mean?" Well, sir, the colours usually help denote your level. And as you climb up the levels, you realise that those colours are actually a target. And the deeper the colour, the harder the target. We know as black belts, people want to hurt you. They fear you a little bit in a sexy way.
They just come at you.
But they want to hurt you. So yeah, if you're a white belt, you want to wear some purple. In purple, it sets off your eyes or something, and you look good wearing it. Wear it. Just
don't complain after.
Don't complain if you get ridden around the room.
Passed on from one to the other.
See, you should. What is it probably Lady Gaga or Madonna says. So you should suffer for fashion or something. Absolutely. If you think purple's your color, you wear that purple, bitch. But then don't be surprised if you suffer.
With pride.
Yeah, if you like brown, yeah, like wear some brown, put some brown accents on your shoulders. But then don't be surprised when people walk in and go, that person's wearing a brown rash guard. I'm going to go prove myself on them. And they fuck you up. Like, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, colours come with a warning, man.
Exactly. Come with warning or an invite.
It's like Crips and Bloods going on here.
Yeah, it's a bit like an invite. Like, whoa, I'm up for some games. Like, I'm a brown belt. And if you're not up for those games, then it's going to hurt.
Wear a white rash guard, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like, again, we are very independent in our gym. We don't really do belts or colours. We work as a team. Everyone's happy. We don't segregate. And so everyone wears the colours that they like. But although, yeah, one of our guys, he's probably listened to this. He did rock up at a Monday class a couple of weeks ago wearing a white rash guard with blue collars. Blue shoulders. And I was like, "Oh, are you promoted to blue belt now, sir?" He went, "No, I just like this rash guard." I'm like, "That's fair, but be warned."
Are you trying to tell me something here? Are you trying to tell me that you're trying to your promotion?
No, everyone in here knows who you are and everyone knows your level, but people coming from outside don't. And they may look at that colour in your rash guard and go, "Oh, that person's up for some fire." And I can't save you at that point. I can't really save you. You know, you wear the colours, you bring the heat. Next question on this two-parter.
The fun one.
Safest techniques for restraining and not hurting somebody, for example, an old lady with dementia.
Rear naked choke.
Restraining and not hurting? Why did you go straight to choking them?
You don't, because you comfortably put them to sleep for a bit, so they don't feel any pain. It's a blood choke, so it's kind of safe.
Do you remember seeing that picture I put on my Instagram? I'm going to have to put it again after this podcast, or maybe even tag it on maybe on the YouTube video. Maybe I should just put that as the image of when I. Jesus Christ, we're going back and just jiu-jitsu stories. So one of our old students, she said to me, like, "Will you give a jiu-jitsu talk, just a bit of talk about jiu-jitsu at the Women's Institute that I go to?" I thought this would be like, younger to middle-aged women who like get together and, it's a space they can get, feel comfortable around each other. And so I thought, yeah, cool. I'll talk about self-defense and stuff like that in, jiu-jitsu. And I thought, I can bring some mats, we can do a bit of training. So I went, we'd arranged it like almost a year in advance. The date was getting closer and I was like, it's still cool that I do this. I end up going there, and it turns out the average age was about 70. And so I sat up. Are you quiet because you're laughing off microphone?
Yeah.
So I get there, and it's probably about 30, 70-year-old ladies. And so I'm setting the mats out in the room, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to talk about for the next 45 minutes about jiu-jitsu? I'm in a room full of women who are 70 years old. Somehow did it on these mats, and then I taught them how to choke people, and there's a picture of me getting choked by a group of old ladies, and I'm gonna have to put that on my Instagram in a minute because it still makes me giggle.
I want to see that pic.
Have you ever seen it?
No.
Dude, it's like if you were to have I'll show you it. I can't explain it. I'm gonna put it on my Instagram anyway. So if anyone's listening to this, I'm gonna just post it for the next couple of days just because it's fucking hilarious.
I want to see it after the recording.
Dude, so I'm getting choked by these old ladies, and then they say to me afterwards, "Oh, now we're gonna have tea and biscuits, and we need you to judge who's brought in the loveliest thing this week and who wins a prize." And so they had all this bric-a-brac on the table, frames of photos in and nice ornaments. And I'm going around whose is this? Margaret, you've just not tried this week. And I'm like, what is happening?
Jiu-jitsu took you to some weird places, Chris.
Dude, I'd just been in a car accident as well. I was all beaten up, my back was all fucked.
You need to start writing a book, mate. Jiu-Jitsu adventures.
Dude, and I'm there just like getting choked out by these old ladies, and they're all just watching me like, woo. And then I'm having to like grade their bric-a-brac that they've brought in.
You the judge.
I think that student of ours, bless her, I think she tricked me. I think she withheld crucial information on what I was supposed to be doing. They also, at the end of it, we'd like to pay you for that. I was like, I can't accept money for what just happened. I'd feel dirty. I feel wrong with this. I feel wrong about everything that's just happened here. And then, like, you know, at the same time, I'm looking at Preet, and he's doing these amazing seminars around the world, and he's getting paid, and he's like, you know, chilling with turtles on the beach. And I'm there getting choked out by old ladies in village halls, and then looking at ornaments. Anyway, safest techniques for restraining and not hurting somebody. I think one of the best things of learning, and I think it's a safety thing as well, is training with day one white belts who are just going mental. Because they move in some mysterious ways. And if you can restrain them and make it so they don't hurt you or don't hurt themselves. So I need to restrain the arms and legs and spine and sit behind them in a big way so they can't fling themselves around. Yeah, always control. Control is the king of all these things. And you just then grade how much you should do that. Just sit behind someone. They can't. Arms and legs only go forwards. They don't really hit well backwards. So if you do need to restrain this old lady with dementia who's wearing a purple rash guard, sit behind her elbows. Like, get behind her. People can't hurt you that much as well. Then just restrain the arms. Exactly what I do with day one white belts. If I'm nice and close and you haven't got that kind of flinging space, I should be pretty safe. It's only if I let you get some form of control, you can hurt me. I'm beating you, like, all those new white belts who come join, I'm beating you up for your own good. It's for my safety and yours.
Yeah, get behind the elbows and rear naked choke them.
Dude, why are you choking old ladies here? Are you on about white belts?
No, old ladies like the resistive, not least resistive technique, because you just put them to sleep, man, and you know, that's it. There's no pain. There's no pain involved.
I think there's a career path for you here. If you ever get bored, dude, one of the guys I used to work with when I was in the fire service made a bit of extra money on the side as a male escort, and he told us about it. He was a young lad at the time. He had some bills to pay, and he said, like, you know, I do it online. You'd never find my profile. I worked as a search engine optimizer and search engineer for years. It took me 30 seconds to find his fucking profile. And so then, you know, he had loads of pictures of him, like, you know, showing off and talking about his, like, you know, what kind of stud he was on this male escort channel. And, you know, fair play to him. He was getting work. He was a handsome boy. But it was mostly middle-ish aged women who just needed a bit of something on their arm when they go to business meetings. And, like, you know, sometimes they may pay more for that kind of, like, extra treatment at the end.
Extra services.
Mixed in with a bit of the dominatrix talk we had earlier, just a bit of mild choking, a bit of, like,
the MILFs,
bit of controlling and dominating. Like, yeah, dude, there's a career out there. Like, there's a seedy underbelly we're just not going near.
No, I'm just saying, you know, the technique. The question was the least resistive, like, you know, because we don't want to cause them any pain, do we? So a choke like a rear naked is going to be one of them where they don't feel any pain.
Have you had that email yet? Pretty much, it's a rite of passage for most black belts, I think. There's a guy out there who he messages black belts when he finds them, and he's trying to find black belts to come and choke him at his house.
Fuck that right off, mate.
And, like, I engaged with the guy. Like, he messaged me and he was like, "Oh, would you consider coming out to his country in Europe, and staying at his house for a weekend and, like, choking him and stuff?" Like, I'll read the message to you. Like,
fucking don't, boy. You're not going to come back the same person.
Dude, it's been a couple of years now. And yeah, he wait there. Oh, like, he was aggressive. So I offered him a price. He went, so for price, I could pay you, obviously, man, but I'm not rich. Your treatment should be paid. And he sent me a picture of a gi and some feet. And he said, but you can find a low-cost flight and €500 for 3 days of my total control. Man, I'm not rich. And that's what he was asking for. Like, if I can find some low-cost flights, he was paying me €500 for 3 days of the total control over him. I said, no, sorry, that's this. The other price is what I'm offering. And he goes, I'm glad to know you're not shocked about it. He goes, I don't dislike people choking me for fun. I enjoy them for myself. And I hope I'm not too much weight for you to choke and throw around. Please, man, I'll pay you €500 for 3 days of my total control. And then more pictures of geese and feet. And no, he never agreed to my price, Everyone's got a price eventually, and his 500 offer was way too low. But yeah, so there's that black belt out there right now, and he's not a black belt, no. He's a dude who he's trying to find black belts to come choke him in exchange for, I think, geese and feet and money. Not much money either. But the other part of me is like, okay, if he's not that good, I could definitely overpower him. But if I can't and he's a bit of a nutter, I'm definitely going to end up as a lampshade.
Yeah, you're fucked. You'd wish Vaseline was fucking your best friend.
Dude, it'd be fucking Buffalo Bill. It'd be out of that fucking hole throwing fucking lotion in at me.
What a fucking weekend as well, fuck me.
Yeah, you want 3 days? 3 days, that's a long seminar, man. Just to sit in some dude's house, just chatting to him, and when he feels a bit kinky, just choke him for a bit and throw him around. And I don't know, he wants to touch my feet. I'm not entirely sure. When you get that email, because he seems to go around the black belts, or maybe
I'll message you. I'll be like, "Look, I got it."
When that day comes, it's a rite of passage. I know a few black belts who've had it. Maybe not all black belts. Maybe he's got a certain type.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck we ended up here. Holy shit! I think this is probably the weirdest one we've had, podcast-wise.
Next question. It's because of that question. It took us off into different tangents.
It has, yeah. Right. Okay, this is a bit more down to earth. This is nice. We're getting brought back into the world now. I saw that outside single leg was banned at a tournament for blue belt and below. What are your thoughts on tournaments banning head outside single legs? I've heard your thoughts on not doing head outside single legs in the gym. So, what are your thoughts on head outside single legs in competition and in the gym?
I think they should be treated as not a beginner move. I think the safety, like you've been doing recently, should be pointed out. And I think there's much safer moves that you can do that don't require head going out on the outside. It's not. You can't just completely say no, because again, it's a decent level, a high level. You see him pulled off quite nicely, actually. You can go to high crotches and all sorts of stuff with head outside singles. But no, yeah, I agree. It's dangerous for people who don't know what they're doing. People might jump guard and give them a DDT. They might just completely yank their neck off. There's a picture of me, actually. I sound hypocritical now. There's a picture of me, I'll try find it, where in a tournament I've literally got a choke on standing and I'm leaning all the way back and you can see this poor guy's neck just...
Yeah,
Can you remember it?
I remember it.
Yeah, I'm like, it was my profile picture for it as well. Now I'm just thinking about it, I'm thinking shit. But that was probably head outside single, if I remember rightly, and that's where we ended up.
Yeah, there's a reason, and so I'm going to do a video on this as well. I've got a lot of videos to put up in the next couple of days, and it's about safety when training, as in if techniques may cause paralysis or death, some bad shit, I'm going to take them out. I'm going to eliminate the chance. There's plenty of other things I can teach you, that don't involve putting your head on the outside, because it's there's plenty of takedowns you can do. The reason I'm asking people not to put their head on the outside for a single leg is because if someone grabs hold of your neck, which they might do, and they jump backwards into guard, which you can do in jiu-jitsu, there is a chance you could end up having your neck snapped. Which isn't some like, oh, I've just had my knee blown through by a bad like scissor kick or something. Your neck has been fucking broken. You may not recover from this. And it's like, if you getting a head outside single means so much to you, cool. But that's on you. Like, I'll give you the information. I'll tell you that I'm not going to fucking show you it because I don't want to risk that. And, you know, when the law is at my door and asking what the fuck happened, I can say, look, here's my risk assessment of techniques. I consider that technique a highly dangerous technique that could cause injury to the person doing it. Goes out of your hands then. They ignored me. And I asked them not to. I can't control what people do.
Yeah, essentially.
And, you know, if people have loss of control and they go up over your neck and see the opportunity and then just go straight backwards, well, then shit, like, you know, I say that, I mean, people do them. Like, you know, you do catch the head outside singles in the gym, but you mostly do it with me. And because you know I'm not going to grab that headlock and I'm going to fall back with it. Like, I never grab a head and fall back. Ever.
Yeah, and obviously if I go for them, my head is there, and then it's either high up in the armpit, or I'm either going low single, or I'm going high crotch, you know, and then I'm letting go. I'm not keeping my head there, which is where people fuck up a lot, because they'll go head outside single and they just stay there. It's like, what you doing, man?
Exactly. And oh, dude, it scares the bejesus out of me because, you know, it's up to, you know, the coaches and the head coach of the gym to create the environment that people can train safely. And so, you know, it's my competence that then looks at the techniques and the environment and goes, right, these techniques, you know, there has to be a balance of, like, you don't want to make it too boring because otherwise why are we learning a combat sport? There has to be an element of danger to it. But at the same time, like, the stuff that's fucking, you know, can fuck you up for life or end it, I can't consciously do that. And if anything, it's one of the issues I have with straight eco training is that, you know, unless you give people, when you create games in it, you create a level of aggression and people trying to win. And when you do stuff like, you know, especially when it comes to grabbing people by the head and stuff and people are trying to win those games, yeah, shit, especially from stand-up, things can go wrong, and there has to be that kind of full explanatory element of like, no, we leave the fucking neck alone. Like, and it's for a reason. I can't let you do this by accident. It'd be negligent of me.
Yeah, it's. I think it needs to be emphasized a bit more sometimes because there are a lot of people going for things and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm going to make sure to talk about that. I'm going to make, if I don't fall asleep, I might make one. I'll definitely go do it tomorrow. Next question. Should you take time off after a tournament, or any suggestions for competition recovery?
I think it entirely depends on the person because, like, you could go through, people do it differently, man. Like, they could go through a 6-month period where you decided you're going to do a competition every month and then you're going to have some time off. You could do it in a way where you train hard for a comp and then you do the comp and you decide before whether you win or lose. However you do that, you're going to go for another one straight away, or you probably have some time off. So I think it depends on the person, man. And I've done both. I've done a few different ways where I've done 3 or 4 competitions literally on the trot every week for a month, and then I've had a couple of months off, and then I've gone again, and I've done 2 or 3 back to back in a week after week, and then I've had a break for a bit, and then I've done one competition maybe, and then not done another one for a few months. So I think it entirely depends on the person of how much you want to compete, and life as well. I think a lot of people forget that we have lives and money. Flipping competitions, man, so expensive. So yeah, I can't really. It's one of them things. It's per person. It's up to you your lifestyle, what allows you to compete, on how you feel. Because again, injury is another factor. If you get injured and then you don't know how long it's going to take you to recover, to be able to train properly, to compete again. So there's a lot of factors I think that come into play to that.
I think So I think the big factor as well, like obviously, yeah, it's your personal, how you feel in your body. Like, if you have time for growth, like if you're just jumping straight back in on it, like, have you grown as a person? Do you have better things to, are you better between competitions? But also, like, it's a, again, how people treat their home gym. And I've said this, a couple of times now, of this idea that when we're in our home gym, we're Manchester United. We are the same team. Like, we're training against each other, but we're on the same team. Like, just like how any football team or any team in sport, they train with each other, but they don't go hack each other's legs out when they're in training. Could you imagine how mental it would be if, like, you're a defender on a team, like a football team, and you're on a weekday training morning, and you're doing a bit of, like, a bit of sparring, as it were, 10 aside, 11 aside, or whatever. And you see that, your striker who's on your team, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm going to hack his legs out and cripple him for the rest of the week. Like, what kind of fucking psychopath does that to their own team? Like, do that at the weekend when you fight, when you're against another team, against Man City, if you're a bit of a nutter called Suarez or something, and you like biting people. But if you're a normal person, like, don't just go hacking their legs out anyway, but don't do it to your own fucking team. And so if you can come back from a game at the weekend, try and use that football analogy, and then you go back to your own team, and they're like, ha ha ha, he's fucking hurt, let's do him in more. Then there's a problem with your fucking team.
Yeah, true. And it's in football, there's been cases of this where teams have trained hard and they've actually hit players and they couldn't put out their first teams. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Some people can be a bit mental, but at the same time, it's like, well, let's look at this a bit rationally. Like, you should be able to come back and just train lightly within your own team. And, like, half the questions we get through this half the time is people bitching about people on their own team. I'm like, how are we here? How are we on like, imagine, if imagine you played for Manchester United and you were a striker, and all week in practice you were like, but this defender, I can't get past him, and, like, how do I get past someone who's a really good defender? You'd be like, he's on your fucking team, ask him. Like, why are you I understand that you want to get better, and but why are we in competition with our own teammates? It doesn't make any sense. We're there to make each other better so we can go out as a team and go and fight at the weekends. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We're in this together on the same team. And if I go to your gym as well, like, I'm not competing against you. I've just rolled up for practice. Good Lord. Yeah, it's... So you should be able to come back after a tournament and just go straight back into training if your team is right. If your team is wrong, then there's an environmental problem with your team, and that's unsafe. That's not your fault, unless you're a problem as well. Unless you're a douchebag and no one likes you. Do you have any tips for a smaller person who is new to the sport?
Don't be on the bottom.
I like it.
Yeah, don't be on the bottom. Fucking don't go straight forward. Try to cut angles. Always go behind the elbows. Use your speed as an advantage. You probably won't be as strong as them people, but use your speed as your advantage. You might be short or small, but, like, smaller people can create some, like, weird angles and like pivot points, man. When the way they grip, and sometimes it's learning off small people is amazing because they have to have the best technique. because of just they have to make up for the size and the strength advantage that most people would have over them. But yeah, a speed. So you just cardio. You can out cardio bigger people as well if you're smaller.
This is back to the same conversation. Is that it's relative and shouldn't exist. Also, is that if you're competing, you're only going to be competing against people your size. So you're not small. Again, it's a gym problem. Then is that. If you're coming as a small person and go, well, how am I supposed to fight these big people in the gym? And I'm like, well, first off, they're on your team. Should they be hurting you? And it's a power-based sport. That's why we have divisions. That's why we have weight divisions when we go to competition, is because it's a power-based sport. And if someone is bigger and more powerful than you, they have an advantage. But if you're in the gym and you're training with these people, they're on your team. So they should be controlling their power, so you get a fair game. It's not up to you, because power is only, size is relative. I mean, you can say, well, what if I'm a small person? Well, motherfucker, there are people in our gym who are literally twice my weight and about 5 inches taller. Like, does that make me the small person? I'm 95 kilos. This motherfucker's 180. Like, what advice have I got? Being small is very relative. Like, there are plenty of, we've got plenty of guys, one of our favourite little black belts that comes play with us on the weekend. He's 120 kilos and he's about 6'4". Like, I'm a small person against that guy.
I'm fucking tiny these days against him, man. Fucking hell.
Exactly. And I'm like, he's got a good 20, 30 kilos on you. Like, you're a small person. So maybe you should be looking at that thinking, like, oh, what advice have I got for us being a small person? Yeah, I wouldn't count either of us as small people. It's all relative, but the rules still apply. No matter who the fuck you are, be the person on top.
Yeah.
The only thing that ever changes is the gym culture. And if bigger people are being dicks to you, then why are people on your team being a dick? It's a cultural problem.
Yeah, the boss needs to deal with it, the person at the top.
Yeah, exactly. The boss should fucking get on their case and say, look,
they need they need designated people like customer service people and human HR people who can create order in the gym.
Exactly. I don't think we should call them mat enforcers anymore. I think that we should call them customer relations. I think that's what I'm going to get for you and Abbas. I'm going to get you your own rash guards covered in like blood, just that says customer relations.
And human relations and customer relations.
It just says mat enforcer, but it's crossed out. It just says, oh no, customer relations. That's what we are. We're not mat enforcers. We're who you call if you have a problem. I think that's less scary. I think all mat enforcers should be called customer relations. I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night giggling on that one. Don't steal my ideas. Next question. There's only a couple left. We're almost there. Oh, this is probably the last actual question. How many concepts for BJJ are there? Is it 32? Less than? Huh?
You can't put a fucking number on it, man. I've never sat there and thought about it, to be honest.
I think there's more concepts all the time.
Yeah, it's evolving. It's evolving, isn't it, the game?
They consolidate as well. So it's almost like watching stars form and break apart and become, join onto other stars. It's beautiful in a way. It's like watching bubbles. Sometimes new bubbles form. And some bubbles join together.
Yeah, I think that's what's so attractive about this sport, because it's all so ever evolving, and then you always have them moments where you go, "Oh shit! Oh yeah, I see this now."
Exactly. Oh, it's related to that bubble. Oh, they're the same bubble. They weren't separate bubbles. Yeah, man. It's just bubbles in a glass. I haven't even got a drink, so I'm not even pulling that out of my ass. And working something on my table. It's bubbles in water. Some new bubbles appear. Some bubbles join onto other bubbles and make bigger bubbles. some bubbles split apart. So I can't really put a number on it at all. But I
there's no number.
Concept. Again, concept became, I think this is the old eco word. Like, it's one of those buzzwords that, everyone says, like, I'm going to show concept. Here's a load of techniques. And like, I think you get what concept means.
It's like a constant pursuit of perfection, ain't it? Knowing full well that perfection doesn't exist. You know what I mean? It's just you're just chasing perfection.
I'm chasing a deeper understanding. I want to go balls deep in understanding jiu-jitsu. I want to get all the way in there. I don't think I'm there sometimes. I think I can go deeper. And find new ways of explaining things.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
yeah. Is there a limit on concept? No. There's not 32. It's bubbles. Wait, I'm not even high. Like, how the hell did I get here? Naturally high off my own vapors. Last question then. Any seminars in Berlin or anything anytime soon? I have no bookings in Berlin. You know where to find me. I have a passport.
I'm easy to find.
Have a passport, will travel. Naqi, you're getting on that seminar train now. You're going to be out there.
Yeah.
Delivering.
Slowly.
I'm so happy. So we're going to be both in Amsterdam this month in May. We're going to go over and see Raoul and, come say hello to us. You can't. I think that camp got sold out. Then you're off to Switzerland. I'm off to the States. Just to plug this, I'm making another Fanatics DVD. I thought I had nothing left in it. I thought I had nothing left in the tank. I thought I'd been drained dry. But no. A lot has changed, and I've written so much for this already. I've just sat out there in the sun, pen in hand, just releasing myself onto the pages. Can't wait to see what comes of it. Oh, sticky.
Too many funds. I
know, but I think this is the biggest one I'm ever going to do. I'm so like, holy shit. Because I'm there with a notepad and I've got my phone on dictaphone, and like every now and then I'm just in the car and I'm like, shit, I need to record this idea. More stuff's coming out of me. I grab some towels. Yeah, so I'm so excited for this. I think the rough gist of it, like, I don't know if it's the title that's going to stick, but I'm on the working title of using defense to create crushing offense.
Nice. Makes sense.
I know it's going one step further now. It's like, right, we're going to use defense to make awful offense. Like, the best offense is a good defense.
Yeah, that's a sport in general as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
like now in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's a play on that idea that it's completely backwards. Those people who say good offense, best defense is a good offense. No, it's not. Best offense is a good defense. I'll prove it to you.
Yeah.
So it's all out there. It's going to be a big year for us. Big year for Fighting Fit. Big year for Villaincast.
Yeah, man.
And here we are. I think next week's our anniversary week. So if anyone else still wants to jump in, say hello to us, just drop me a message. There's been a couple of people showing some interest. But please jump in. Let's have some fun. This is a fun podcast. As you can tell, we have a great time. But this has been Villaincast with myself and Naqi. Thank you, sir, for coming on late and doing this.
No problem.
Appreciated. It's always fun. And I'm going to go post a picture of me getting assaulted by some old ladies.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Dude. Yeah, so anyone listen to this, it's probably still up on Instagram, so check that shit out. All right, good night, Naqi.
Good night, my friend. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.